Hello, my name is Jan Thielemann, and in this video I want to talk about the getList or getReferenceList web service, which is one of the model AD services. And what it does is, if we take a look at the wiki, we see that the web service is intended to get a data from a list, reference list or reference table. And what this does mean is if you go to the reference window on the system client here, you have different validation types, and you have, for example, list validation and table validation. And there you can either, for example, if you have a list validation, let's search for a list. One list is, let me quickly check a list I use in my example. It is this, I think. And you see here it's simply a list validation with different entries entered directly into this window. And you also can have a table validation. And this means you provide a table, its key column and the display column, and then the list, which you can use in a dropdown. For example, this one here is a table, which is a table reference, I believe. It's linked to AD column. And yeah, if you need these values in another application or so, then you can use the getList web service to load these entries. So here on my Garden World client, I have already created two web services. The first one is getRefList, which will get me a reference list. And the second one is getRefTable, which gives me a list from a table. Let's take a look at the ref list first. Here I selected the AD ref list table, since this is the table where the entries for this reference are stored in. Then you only need one parameter, which is the AD reference ID. And here I used free. And normally I would recommend you to use a constant here and create a web service for each reference list you want to get from the application dictionary. Because if this one is free, I can enter the AD reference ID in my request, and then I can basically get any reference list from the database. And if you take a look at this little SQL, let me change this. Then you see there are a lot of references, and maybe not every reference should be available via web service. But in my demo case, that's okay. Here I can run this request, and you see I get my 3 entries. So yeah, I don't need any input fields for this, but I need to specify some output fields, and that are the fields you get back in the request here. As you see, every entry has a name and a value, and I also could add another field like is this entry active? Because maybe you deactivated some of the entries in the reference list and then it doesn't work. Why does it not work? What if I delete this one and run it again? Okay. So obviously the isActive flag does not work. Maybe the table has no isActive flag, but I can't imagine that. So if I add the value back again and save it and run this one, then I still only have value and name. So why is this the case? Let's debug this. I'm curious why this does not work. So I go to my local host and log in on the system client. because in my opinion every entry from this table should work, but maybe I'm wrong. So reference here, and we want the, what was it, the BP group or something, business partner group. We can sort by the validation type, then we should find some list validations. There's one, for example. So what fields do we have here? Maybe the valid to and valid from will work. Valid to and valid from. Save it. Run it, and it does not work. Why does this not work? I don't understand it. So let's take a look at the code. This is live, my friends. So the code for the web services, by the way, is located in the org iDempiere web service bundle, and there in the org iDempiere AD interface in the model AD service implementation class. So let's take a look at the getList. Where is it? There it is. getList. Okay, so it only, that's the problem. It only selects the value, the name, and the description from the AD ref list table. So that are the only columns we can return. That's not so good if you ask me. We should definitely extend this functionality, because I think there is active flag and the valid from and valid to are one of the most interesting things beside value and name. But yeah, this should be relatively easy to extend, and we just would have to add the columns here and yeah, also add the columns here. And then I believe it could already work. But I'll try this later, because now I want to show you the getRef table, which I also already created a web service for, but not in this browser tab, but in this one. Yeah, also don't forget to add a role to the access, otherwise you can't execute this web service. So here's the getRef table, and here I highly recommend you to use a constant parameter as the AD reference ID. As you see, it's also a model-oriented web service with the getReference method. And yeah, I just copied this from the other web service. But yeah, make sure this one is not free but a constant, because you have to specify a table here. And yeah, the table basically has to fit the table from the reference, because otherwise you won't be able to get the output fields you want. And I don't think that this can be made generic enough to return values for every table. So yeah, here in my case, I use the reference ID 356, which is the C greeting table reference. And if we take a look at here and change this to AD reference ID equals 356 and run this, then you see it's from C greeting. And if I select everything from C greeting, I get only this one entry, which is Mr. And what I did here is I selected the C greeting table, so that in my input fields, in my output fields, sorry, I can select the columns from the C greeting table, which is the name and the greeting column in my case. So yeah, You can use this as a free, but I wouldn't recommend you to do this. You also could add a parameter called filter, which cannot be free because we had a little SQL injection issue here, but today I read that this might be fixed already. So maybe in the near future we can use the filter again as a free parameter. You get this error when you try to save it as a free, but you can use it as a constant. And here, for example, you could say is active equals yes to only get active records. And what it does is this filter is added to the SQL, or it should be added at least to the SQL, I believe. Let's take a look. Here we have the filter. And if there is a filter, then it is added to the SQL here, to the where clause. Yeah. Okay. So I hope this video helps you. And if yes, then please leave me a comment or give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate this. Yeah, please give me feedback, or if you think I forgot something, then, or if you think this video is bad, then give a thumbs down. Yeah, and I see you in the next video.